welcome back to my channel. My name is Charnel, and today I'm going to go over the books that I read in the month of April. April just ended yesterday, so I want to wrap it up with all the books I read. Off the top of my head, I think I read 16 books, but a few of them are poetry books, so they're like tiny. So let me go ahead and start. So this is in no particular order, like order I read or order my favorites or anything like that. These are just some of the books I read. Let me see. Okay, so Imani Perry's, she's the author, and the book is Black and Blues. Yes, I read a nonfiction. This is basically a manifesto of how the color blue has, how do I say it? How the color blue, oh, it kind of says right here, how a color tells the story of my people. So basically how the color blue impacts, influences, and has carried Black people throughout the diaspora for hundreds of years. She tells the story from the US, the Caribbean, South America, Africa, Europe, and includes like some, y'all, this book got wet. My son accidentally spilled water on my nightstand, and this was on my nightstand. But yeah, so it has like pictures from all over. This book is just beautiful. I gave it 5 stars because I know I'm gonna like go back to it, like use it as references. I mean, I ain't in school, but like I just always want to go back to it. And if a nonfiction book that's not a memoir or poetry captures me like this, you know what's good? Well, for me, like, but I highly recommend this. 5 stars. Okay, next is Night Bloom by Peace Azomedi. If y'all have been on this channel watching my videos for a while, you know I read His Only Wife by the same author. Actually, I don't think I had this channel yet when I read that. I think I read it in 2023 or 22. Anyway, so this is Night Bloom. This one tells the story of 2 cousins who grew up together. They're girls. They grew up together from birth, basically. They are first or second cousins. I think their dads are cousins. Yeah, I think their dads are cousins who are like super tight. And then maybe, is that second cousins? I don't know. I think that's second cousins. Anyways, so they grew up together in Ghana from birth. Oh, and then the mothers became really close, like best friends too. So they grew up as sisters, but they were cousins. And they were like, just lived down the street from each other and everything. So we go through their journey from little girls through adulthood. And wow, it's a journey. So this isn't a synopsis, but one grows up, stays in Ghana and does her thing. The other grows up and goes to college in the US. And but they were so close, like, but up until like teenagehood, something happens that pulls them apart, and it's like devastating. There's so much family secrets and reveals and misunderstandings and miscommunication. Like, this story really tells how miscommunication can really tear people apart, and it's like, wow. But I love this. It was heartbreaking and everything like that, but I love this. I think I gave this 4.5 stars. I could be wrong. Did I give it 4? I think I gave it 4.5. But I highly recommend it. I loved it. Next is The Dream Hotel by Layla Lalami. This is a sci-fi lit fic, I think sci-fi literary fiction. So this is about a woman, Sarah, in like the not so distant future. It's like based in like 2030. And it kind of is telling what can happen if we keep going down a path with letting technology, and specifically AI and algorithms, play such an integral part in our lives. So this is called the Dream Hotel because like, you know, currently we have like the Aura rings that help track your sleep, even the Apple Watches. Like, I wear Apple Watch. But so there's technology in this future in like the 2030s, let's say, that can basically, it monitors your dreams. And there is a private entity, not a government board, but a private board, like a private company, who they will detain you if your dreams show that you could become or show violence or things like that. Because in their eyes, they're like, well, the algorithm says because you had a violent dream or a weird dream, you're susceptible to become a violent or criminal person in the future. So yeah, so this happens to Sarah. She implanted the sleep technology or whatever because she's a new mom. So everybody knows, like, she wasn't getting enough sleep. Her husband's working, so it was just her and her twins. She's a new mom. She was sleep deprived. I've been there. And so she got this thing. Oh, because the sleep device is supposed to help you sleep too. It's supposed to give you nice, peaceful sleep to where when you wake up in the morning, you're refreshed instead of being like that sleep deprived, exhausted, like you slept but not really type of feeling. So yes, so that happens to her. She gets detained because she had a dream and she doesn't even remember what the dream is. And it's to me, like, this book kind of like is a foreshadowing and a forewarning of, and kind of an awakening of like how integrated technology is in our lives and how everything runs on an algorithm. It's not just social media that runs on an algorithm. And in this book, the algorithm, like, it's like the algorithm is their lord, is these people's lord of what determines what everything. So I highly recommend this. I gave this 5 stars. This is so good. It's so good. Yes, please read this one. Next is Brought Up See by Christina Cook. Yeah. So this is a literary fiction. It's a Jamaican read, Caribbean read. So I was excited to read this one. So I gave this one 3 stars because it was, and I saw the reviews that said this, but I was like, I'm gonna read it still anyway. I don't care. It is like you're reading one thing, but like towards like, let's say 70%, 80%, it's taking your turn. It's like, what was the point of this? I don't want to spoil it because I do want people to read this, but for me, it was a 3-star read. Because of that. Because you think you're going to go on this journey with this girl. I forget her name. Akua. Because this is in synopsis. Her little brother just passed from sickle cell. And her older sister still lives in Jamaica, but her and her little brother and her dad were living in Canada. So she makes a decision to spread the little brother's ashes in Jamaica, where they're from. That's their home. Understandable, right? So you think that's the journey she's going on, but it just takes a turn when she starts just doing reckless, weird stuff, and it's just like, what happened to, you know, but like spreading your brother's ashes like throughout Jamaica, like the town and parish they're from. It's like he got forgot. Like it's like he was forgotten. Like, I was like, what? I thought we were doing this journey and reconnecting with your sister, because the older sister decided to stay in Jamaica when they were kids, and was raised in Jamaica. So you've seen, like, I I thought it was gonna be this like clash of two worlds, like this Americanized. Well, okay, so Akua and her little brother was raised half in the U.S. and like when Akua was like a teenager, her dad moved them up to Canada. So she kind of lost her accent. Hello, that's my story. Lost her accent and things like that. And but her sister is still very Jamaican because obviously she stayed in Jamaica, went to college, high school, college, started her career in Jamaica. So she's very, very Jamaican, has her accent, has her ways about her, like a, you know, moves like a Jamaican woman. So they're kind of clashing that way. So I thought we wouldn't get that that journey. But it just took a turn that I felt like it was unnecessary. I'm like, well, no, get back to the family. I don't know. I kind of get the message. I think I get the message the author was trying to portray, but again, it just wasn't what I expected. And I saw the reviews that said this, but I was like, whatever. But I'm glad I read it. I am glad I read it, and I do recommend it, even though I gave it 3 stars. Because some people like books like that, a little unhinged, and which I do too, but that's not what I expected from this. So yes, 3 stars. And then another book that also got wet because of my child was Nearly All the Men in Lagos Are Mad. This is from Damilare Kuku. And this is a collection of short stories about how the men in Lagos in Nigeria are mad. So these are short stories with like women who are married, in situationships, in long-term relationships, single, looking for to get married or be in a relationship and things like that. So you get you get all the rainbow of aspects of how the different men in these situations like treat women. And a lot of it actually is funny, it's relatable, it's you get aspect of the culture of like society, their society, and familial and cultural expectations for the women, and the pressures they feel. So they, you know, like who are they choosing to get married to or whatever. It's just a lot of stories of just mess, and I loved it. And I want to read her other book. I think it just came out like maybe last year. Only Big Bum Bums, something. If I remember, I'll put a picture up. But yeah, I've heard that one was a little bit funny too. So I love her writing. Like, I want to see this in a Nollywood. I want to see this like as a Nollywood like series. I feel like she could turn all these little. I was picturing Nollywood the entire time I was reading this. Yeah, I think that this is just funny. I loved it. And what did I give it? I probably gave it 5 stars. No, I gave it 4. I gave it 4 stars. But it's still a good book. I loved it. Okay, another one that I annotated and tabbed up was A House for Miss Pauline. I think this is my favorite book from April. It's my favorite read from April, and it's one of my top reads of the year. I gave it beyond 5 stars. This is a 6-star read for me. I have a friend who read it after me. I tried to sing its praise, and I think she said she gave it 3 stars. But for me, this was just, I loved it, and it's even in my profile picture on Instagram now of me reading it, because I was just taking it everywhere. I should tell you what it is. Okay, so this is about so Miss Pauline is an octogenarian. I don't know. She's 99 years old in Jamaica, and she's from and lives in a small village in Jamaica, and she hardly leaves the village, and she's never left Jamaica, and I don't even think it says she's ever even left her parish, so like the main big city, and yeah, so she's outlived so many people like in her family, and even one of her kids. It's not a spoiler, but anyway, so she's at the end of her life. She feels she could feel that the whole premise is she feels like she's at the end. But she seems healthy. Like in the book, she seems healthy. But she's at the end, and so she's starting to hear stuff in her house. And to her, it's like she thinks her house is like the rocks are sliding and things like that. In Jamaica, your house is made out of brick or like hard rock because it's a hurricane zone. So most of the houses are made of like brick, rock, stone, like tough stuff to help it not collapse if it's a big hurricane. So anyways, so there's a story behind why she thinks she hears the rocks talking to her, and it's a little bit of magical realism. It's not scary, like a little bit of magical realism, and you find out what is going on, like what's the backstory. And it's all connected to like her feeling like, okay, this must be the end of my life. I'm like, she's gonna die soon because she's about to turn 100. And there's so many other things to call out in it. So there's themes of like the repercussions of colonialism, the repercussions of slavery, and also of who actually owns the land that we live on, especially over here in the Western Hemisphere, right? So think of like themes in Happy Land, like who owns the land? Yeah, so because Jamaica was a colonized so Jamaica was an island that was enslaved, and then after the rebellion and slavery was ended, it was still being colonized by the British until the 1950s-ish, 50s or 60s. So you see all of that through Pauline's eyes. She's been alive for all of that. And yeah, like it was so close that her dad or her grandparents were enslaved. So it's just, I feel like I'm not making sense, but it's just so, you get all of those, like she is the embodiment of all of that. But just think of like, if we could see who our slave masters' descendants were, like our ancestors, slave masters, their descendants, if we could see them walking around, like if they come knocking on your door today to say like, oh, the land you live on is actually mine, it's like, is it really? We're related. Is it really your land? So think about that. 5 star, beyond 5 stars, beyond 5 stars. It felt like this book, like it's fiction, a work of fiction, but it's crazy. I was calling my grandma as I was reading this like a few times just to hear her talk, because this just reminds me of like all of our Black grandmas and Caribbean grandmas, and just they have a story to tell. So read this. A House for Miss Pauline by Diana Macaulay. Next is Julie Chan is Dead by Leanne Zhang. And this is an advanced reader copy that I got from Atria Books. And again, I told you on my most recent vlog that I actually begged for this. I emailed like the not my last vlog, one of my most previous vlogs that I talked about this book. I emailed and begged for this book because it was just speaking to me. But I'm gonna buy it too. I just got my Aardvark email saying their May picks are live, and like I guessed their clue, because if you follow Aardvark on Instagram, or if you're subscribed to their boxes, the clues, they leave clues leading up to the first of the month on their Instagram, and I saw the clue for Julie. I said, that's Julie Chan. The clue that they had for this book, I was like, that is Julie Chan. I already know it. And sure enough, but yeah, I think I want to add that to my May box. I didn't hit purchase yet. Anyway, so this one is a thriller, it's not psychological. It's like a thriller, like a little popcorn thriller, kind of. So it says, Julie Chan has nothing. Her twin sister has everything except a pulse. So this is basically about, twin sisters, their parents died when they're really, really young, like elementary school age. they separate them. Mind you, they're twins. And that's another thing I hate. Is like, why separate twins when they get, when they lose their parents or whatever, like, or not even just twins, it's siblings like that. I just don't understand why the system does that, or when families or whoever decides to do that. That makes no sense. And even just twins. Anyways, so Chloe gets sent to, she gets adopted by a rich white couple, and then Julie, she stays with her abusive aunt. Let's just say that she stays with her abusive aunt and cousin. Yeah. So let's say they're in their early 20s now. They're not, so the whole time they weren't even kept in contact, so they just lost contact of everything of each other. But they found each other on social media like when they're 20s. But now Chloe is like a big time influencer, making like millions of dollars. She excuse me, they kind of reconnected, but if you read it, you'll see it's a little like messed up. And yeah, so one night, this is on the back. So one night Julie gets a call from Chloe saying like it was a mistake or something like that, and then it cuts off. So Julie gets kind of, because Julie was weirded out, because she's like, they have each other's numbers, but they don't talk. She's like, I haven't heard from her in years. And so she gets worried because she keeps calling back. She keeps texting like, hey, are you okay? I got this weird message from you, like, or your call dropped. Like, are you okay? And Chloe never answers. So she goes to New York, where Chloe lives, finds her dead, and yeah, it goes from there. So basically, Julie takes over her life and is like, okay, I'll keep being the influencer for her. And the message that gets put out is Julie died, not Chloe. So everybody thinks Chloe's alive. So this book is weird. It is kind of funny in some parts, but like, it is weird in a good way. I was like, what am I reading? It is weird, but I loved it. I was like, I always say this, but I was like, I haven't read anything like this before. I gave it a 4-star. It's a strong 4 stars. Actually, no, I gave it 4.5. I changed it because I went back. I gave it 4 stars initially because when I finished it, I was like, what the hell is this? But then I went back and I put it, I changed it to 4.5. So I really liked it. I loved it. Y'all, I had a good reading month. I was just reading bangers after bangers. And then I read Grown Women by Sarai Johnson. I always want to say Jackson, but it's Sarai Johnson. This is, I guess, literary fiction. And I gave this one 3.5 stars. So this one is about, so it's a matriarchal family. So basically, so there's the great grandmother Evelyn, the grandmother Charlotte, the mom, I get them confused, Corinne, and then the daughter is Camille. Yes. So it starts kind of starts in the 70s. Like, we see the backstory of the grandmother Charlotte, because she's like the driving force in the book, and she kind of is the catalyst for a lot of things that happen, because Evelyn raised Charlotte in a very affluent neighborhood, affluent home. She was in like Jack and Jill types, those high society, black society types environment. So she was raised with money, access, resources, everything. But it starts off with her, you see Charlotte running away pregnant, and it starts from there. Like, she basically she raised Corinne in poverty, in an abusive home, and yeah, it goes from there. And it's basically the story of these women, and how they come together to make sure Camille, the daughter's life, is different from theirs. So Corinne, who's Camille's mom, and Charlotte, when they notice that Camille is like 10, like, you know, preteen age, and she's changing and going through stuff, they come together and be like, no, we need, you know, Camille needs to make it, basically. And we get that story. And it's like flashbacks to Charlotte's life, things that happened to Corinne. So Corinne grew up in the 90s. I think Corinne is supposed to be like my age, actually. Now that I think about it, because I think she said she was born in like 92. No, I'm lying. No, Camille is my age. Like, would be my age, because I think Camille is the one who was born in like 90 something. Yeah. So we get all of that, and how they make sure Camille makes it. And yeah, I liked this book, but they angered me so much that by the end I was like, I don't like none of y'all. And I just wanted it to be over by the end. So I gave it 3.5. I probably could have did 4. Let's say I did 3.75. Another book I read was We Know This Place by Sunny Patterson. This is a poetry collection of poetry by this poet, Sunny Patterson. So she is a spoken word poet, and I think this is her one and only book of poetry. So she is a New Orleans poet, and this book is about New Orleans. It's basically like a love letter to New Orleans, and her like calling out the gentrification and the subjugation they went through during and after Hurricane Katrina. And a lot of the poems are like basically like the title, We Know This Place, like this is our home, and after this tragedy, you guys coming in and trying to change everything, gentrifying everything, and keep out native New Orleanians from their home and things like that. And it's really a love letter to New Orleans. And y'all know I went there for the first time last year. Well, yeah, I don't know if you know, but like I have a little mini vlog of my a trip to New Orleans last year, and that's where I got this. So yeah. So I highly recommend this. I gave this 4.5 stars. I don't even know why. I think it's probably just a feeling I got. Like, it wasn't like 5 stars, but it was just it was, to me, it's a good way to learn more about New Orleans. I really liked it. So another book I read was another poetry book, The Mother Self by Talia Guten. This one comes out on May 6th. I got it from Booksparks. I signed up for their summer reading thing, but they also sent me a link of like what books I want basically, and I chose this, and it is so good. I gave this 5 stars. It's another one that's kind of like beyond 5 stars, just because of the subject matter. So this is a book of poetry about a new mom's journey, like just with postpartum, basically. Not so much postpartum depression, just her postpartum journey. Like, oh my gosh, like there's this little human that's mine. I'm his mom. And she kind of like, I just really resonated with it because it really summed up my feelings that I had like after having my son in 2020. So it just hit me like right in my feels. So I loved it. I think everybody should read this. Even if you're not a mom, I think you should read it. Just to get a woman's perspective, like the sleep deprivation, like I was talking about before with Sarah from the Dream Hotel. It's like that sleep deprivation, but that overwhelming feeling of love, and then a little bit of loneliness, and just everything you could think of It's just so good. Um, it's just so good, and she just summed it up like perfectly. Like her poems are like short, but they just it's like they just sum up your feelings like in 3 lines, 4 lines, 5 lines. I loved it. Thank y'all so much for watching as always. And I'll see y'all. Look at all these books. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.